go images and stuff. There's no denying this now. It's no speculation. And I do agree with Alex Lujan, Planet X Wormwood. He came in a video I was doing the other day, and he said Planet X isn't, or he said it's not Jupiter. I agree with you, Alex. It's not Jupiter. It's something else. It's something else. Speaking of Alex.
That's the SDO. We're gonna see something pull out right here. Cheers! I'm telling you guys, man. Something's here. Something's. They're hiding all kinds of things from us. They don't want us to see things. Pay attention right here. Here you go. There's your object right there. See it right there? I'll blow this up right now so you guys can see it.
Look at this tail.
Rewind this back again so you guys can see it.
You guys can see this.
There it is right there. See it? Right there. So blow this up for you guys.
What the fuck?
Let's do this right here. See right there? There's your object. Right there.
You gotta be kidding me, man.
Now let's rewind this.
Okay, so obviously YouTube cut my video. So whoever catches this, and hopefully people come back to it. I don't know if they will or not, but we're showing the Nemesis system and the things that are taking place in the sky. You might want to go check the first part of this show to kind of see where we're at with all of this. But whoever does catch it, thank you for joining me. Please hit the like, share, comment, subscribe, and support if you can. The links are in the description below. I do apologize for that. I don't know what is up with YouTube right now, but I was showing some pretty wild stuff and probably saying some things they didn't like. So here we are at the sun. You can see to the left of it. Hopefully you can see to the left of it with the screen. Watch this. This thing has got a long ass tail. And I have a good feeling why they just cut that video. I'm saying some things that they probably don't appreciate, but I'm telling you the truth. They can delete the channel. I don't give a shit. Don't give a shit. Straight up. I've done what I came to do, y'all. And whenever it goes away, then I know it was meant to.
Play right there. Play that right there. Look at that.
Look at that.
You guys see
Look
that?
at that, man.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that right there. Look at that right there. Look at that. Look at that. It's not my fault you guys can't see this stuff and you guys want to believe all the other people are telling you. See, this object is swinging. See, it's swinging. See? It's swinging. See? It's swinging. It's like a bat. Somebody swinging a bat. See, look at it. See the way it looks like somebody swinging a bat? Look at it. So it's coming from this side and it swings this way. Watch. And someone gets a bat and swings it like it. Whoom, and it swings it out here. See? That thing went by fast, quick, man.
Yeah, and remember, we just showed in the first part of this, Carlos Parada and him talking about the 3 speeds. See how it comes together? You can't make this shit up, y'all. Look at this. This big red stripe thing through a telescope.
Shape, formation. Indeed, what we can see, discarding also.
You know what I mean? Go through this ad. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, the stuff is, it's very evident now. Very evident now.
Outside of the particular picture, we're noticing some kind of planet-sized formation. Again, you can see, indeed, the characteristics of some kind
It's
of planet.
striped.
Look at the lines and formations. Are we seeing a binary star? Noticeable as well. Talking about Nemesis. Now, this brandable star shows characteristics of other formations towards this area of the same phenomenon on the picture. The very graphic photograph. Again, thank you so much for sending this in to us. It was only captured yesterday, folks, so what we're seeing is something very interesting, very close to the sun. They also explain as well with this excellent capture towards where we see the sun.
And if everybody can, in the chat for me, please hit the like. That way, the algorithms and all of that good stuff. Please hit the thumbs up for me if you're in the chat. Thank you.
To the edges of the heavenly body, noticing this strange curvature. What is causing this curvature? Where we see the area view side of the sun to this side of this photograph, but there is some kind of characteristics or some kind of anomaly formation to this side where we see.
Now, and think about this too. Alex Lujan, Planet X Wormwood, I think he changes his channel name every week, but Alex Lujan, Planet X, which he does pretty good work. He just showed you off to the side of the sun that round object moving at tremendous speed with the tail, right? We seen it swinging like right here. Now, Matt Rogers, the Skywatcher, which I love his accent from the UK, showing you right in front of the sun now. So think about this orbit going around the sun at speed number 2, building up to critical mass, okay? And it's about to take off. That's why it's getting more and more visible and all of that. Coming up and around, and you can see the tail skinning off this thing too. Might even be more than one object. You can see what looks like a moon or something here, and possibly another object right here.
See this huge dark curvature of something else. Are we noticing a dark planet?
See that? And this would be the dark star. See? There's your dark star. There's one object. There's a striped one right there. You can see the stripes. And there's another one right there. Now, if I took you, and you can even see, this is the string of pearls right here. It's like the face is turned to the side. You guys, let me show you something. See if we can find this image real fast. I think I have it actually. Here, I got it. Oh, no I don't. Anyways. Okay. Right? That's, they blocked out the face of the damn thing. Well, that's awesome. Right here's one too. It's not the face, but there you go. See? The dark star, the 3 objects. The dark star, the 3 objects. Now look, go back to the video. Dark star, 1, 2, 3. And you guys will probably remember, it's got a face on it. That's the one I'm actually trying to find here. This is the one with the face on it, where it looks literally like a face of a dragon on this thing out in space as it's approaching. And I've showed it in the past. Obviously, I'm not going to show. I have to go back to one of my videos to get it, and I'll do it before we leave. But it looks like a face in infrared, and you can see what looks like 2 eyes, and then the string of pearls makes the mouth right here. And from where we're seeing it right now, it's like cocked sideways. The dark star behind it, the blue and red Kachina, and this is the moon. And I'll tell you what, in my vision / dream that I had, that's what I seen, was a giant red striped planet cover in the sky, and to the bottom left of it, it had a giant ass moon, like a giant brown rock, and it hit the earth. And I could see the pieces of the earth floating up like in slow motion almost, like where it was gravity was lost or the magnetism changed. I don't know what had happened. And as I scanned over to the horizon to the left, I could just see fireballs. It rained like rain, but it was like hard rain where it rained sideways. And the whole earth was basically already pretty decimated. It looked like war had already taken place. And when the sky turned red and this thing popped in the sky, every person around me, every person, I didn't even see nobody who wasn't this way. They all turned into demons. Their eyes instantly turned solid black, and I could feel the hatred for me. Like, they couldn't touch me, but I could feel they wanted, to kill me. And people were running around like their hair was on fire, but they were in sheer terror. It scared me because they were so scared. That's what unnerved me, was watching them that terrified. And they were either went straight into committing the most heinous, violent acts, or they were so scared that they couldn't function. They were jumping off of buildings. Cars were just running people over. And then when this thing was in full view and it covered the sky, the whole earth just started shaking. It wasn't an earthquake. It was the entire earth shaking so hard that the ground everywhere just started cracking and splitting and opening up. And people were just falling in everywhere. Every building that I could see with my eyes, every building just crumbled like sand, like they were sand castles. But I didn't fall. And I heard the words, everything that can be shaken will be shaken. So, you can take that for what you will. But that's the whole reason I even started doing this. I got out of prison. I had been clean for 7 years. Family, all types of stuff, man. I had completely changed my life after that moment. That's how powerful it was. And it started with a prayer. Just me asking. Just me asking to see the truth. I wanted to know the truth about Jesus. I wanted to know the truth about it all. And I was shown. So maybe, if you doubt what I'm saying, if you doubt all of this, test it. Test the Spirit. Ask yourself. You have the same direct line to God as I do, or anybody else. And if you don't think I'm worthy to speak to God, that's a problem with you, not me. More through telescope.
This darker ring showing up as well across this area. You see the dark shadow emitting to the center of the object, a lighter illumination of blue that is appearing around the object, and then you start to see this haze straight across the object. There is two other smaller objects. We could be seeing Farada, Harrington in this mini constellation towards the Nibiru system.
And from
Could it be possible, folks, there is
what I've gathered, Nibiru itself is actually blue, right? The planet Nibiru is blue. It's a giant super Earth kind of planet. And it's another planet that is actually the red striped one that'll come whipping past. But this would be the one that the Anunnaki would be on, if they're there, if they're physical beings at all. I mean, we do know in the Bible and in Enoch and stuff, they had a physical form, right? And they used to be bipedal too, because they lost that form and were made to crawl on their bellies like snakes. So who knows? And we know that, and this could very well just be Saturn. Like I said, you still can't completely rule out Saturn and Jupiter stuff. Okay? I mean, I do lean towards Nemesis, but I keep my mind open at all times into all possibilities, because no matter what we think we're seeing, no matter what we think we know, we don't know. We don't know. So if anyone is speaking matter-of-factly, saying, oh, well, this person's stuff is fake and this is the way it is, no. Ignore that person, because they're an idiot. None of us know for sure. We're all speculating. We're all giving opinion. We're all saying what we think. And we're trying to put the pieces together the best way that we can. That's why I always try to use a bunch of different sources, because that's how it has to happen. Right? I only have a small fraction. You have a fraction. Alex Lujan, Matt Rogers, so on and so forth. And we all have to put our pieces together. That's why it's about coming together. Do you see what I mean? We can't get it unless we come together. I got one puzzle piece. You got another. We won't ever get the big picture until we do. And if we allow stupid stuff like our religion, our political views, whether we think it's Jupiter or Planet X, dumb shit like that, to divide us, we're in deep trouble.
Another star system in our solar system, changing our solar system. Tracy, that is based in Dallas, United States of America, sky photographer, showed up as well by explaining through email, Matt, please show your audience, show what we are seeing and sighting across the skies of Dallas, taken around about 12 at midnight. I could see some kind of orb, artifacts. Now, they zoomed in to the object. At first, her husband explained as well it could be just a star, so they showed up as well by using the high-performance telescope and pointed to the direction of the Orion's belt. In particular, to this viewpoint, it does look very bizarre. I mean, again, when you see the characteristics of the object, look at the formation to either side. This does look like some kind of wings or some kind of red dust, cosmic debris in our solar system.
And think about the red and the blue Kachina, right? When the blue Kachina dances in the plaza and removes her mask. And you know what convinces me I know we're on to something here? And this is supposedly a huge UFO in Georgia and a massive UFO over La Palma. We know that these are not UFOs, right? These are, look, there's your wings. These are not UFOs. These are objects. This is all this crap coming in, man. This is all this coming in. And you know how I know we are onto something here? Because of how bad they are clamping down. Literally. I've never, ever seen them clamp so hard on my channels. I mean, I'm posting on Twitter and I'm getting... I got videos with thousands and thousands of views just from today. And I come to YouTube and I have 20 people in a chat on a channel of over 12,000 people. That says something right there. It lets you know that they're trying to hide this. Look at that. And see, they believe that's a UFO. These are objects just going right through the sky. This is wishful thinking, in my opinion. It's wishful thinking. Everybody wants to believe that these are UFOs because they think that, see, look at that red object. See, we mentioned before, well-known military aircraft do not emit large amounts of light. Well, let me tell you something. Dwarf stars, same way. And if you actually look behind the object, you can see the entirety of it. We're only seeing a little bit coming through the atmosphere. Why? Because it's caked in nanoparticulates, which bend, refract light, and make objects completely and totally disappear. Period. And what comes through is red because it has the longest signature on the electromagnetic light wave spectrum. People want it to be UFOs because they think ETs and aliens are going to come save them. That's why they go with that. Or they bought into the Pleiadian, Arcturian crap and they don't want to admit they're wrong. Or that they've been deceived. Anything that's outside of you, leave it, man. I mean that. Leave it. This is about coming back to ourselves, looking within ourselves. The truth is written on your heart. You don't need none of these outside entities. All we truly need is each other. Look at this. Do you see that, man? Let me take that back a step. Look at that. Now, this shows you it's artificial light right here because the light's in front of it. You see that? How the light's in front of it? What is that? What is that? I'm trying to tell people, like, it's really, really obvious now. Like, we're it's beyond hiding now.
Oh my gosh. I thought I was filming. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Can I get it again? There was 2 black hole suns up there. And that, then everything else. Where the fuck to go? I mean, I thought I'd been filming here for a minute. Damn. Man. Fucking hard to see.
There you go. What's this right here? It's not moving. You can see the artificial light source. And this is either something artificial as well, or something in front of it, or I don't know. Look, it's not moving right there.
I thought I caught some awesome fucking
Look, it's not moving.
shit.
See?
No,
Not
I
moving.
wasn't.
Not moving at all. And see, you can see the hexagonal shape of it right there. It's artificial, y'all. That's why it's bleaching into the clouds the same way it is. That's what they're using those particulates in the clouds to do, is to flood the light in so you cannot see.
Recording.
You can see it right there. Ain't moved the whole time.
Better like another. Oh, motherfucker.
Dude, he's cussing up a storm, but right there. See? Hasn't moved the entire time. Your sun's not square. It's not shaped like a honeycomb or a hexagon, or it doesn't have a giant black hole in the center.
October 7th here.
Once again, check this one. becoming really obvious. Really obvious, y'all. Study of prior research suggests there is a swarm of large asteroids hidden in the Taurid complex. This is what I was talking about. A pair of scientists, with one with the University of Antioquia, the other the University of Salento, has found, and remember, that was just mentioned by Carlos Ferrada at the beginning, which would be the other video if you're catching this on the flip side. And the other, the University of Salento, has found evidence of a swarm of large asteroids hidden in the Taurid complex. Ignacio Ferrin and Vincenzo Orofino have written a paper describing their findings in the Journal of Planetary and Space Science. Every year at the end of October, an event known as the Taurid meteor shower occurs, giving those who venture out into the dark spaces the opportunity to witness a host of shooting stars. Prior research has shown that they are actually debris left behind by Encke's comet as it passes relatively close to the sun each year. Excuse me. Lost my spot. Okay, in this new effort, Ferrin and Orofino claim that they have found evidence of a swarm of large asteroids hiding in the Taurid complex. They further suggest that the asteroid swarm is part of a debris field left behind by a very large, as yet unnamed comet, the one that gave birth to Encke. Think about it, man. While studying the Taurid complex, the researchers found 2 asteroids that had not been seen before. Measurements of the 2 space rocks showed them to be 200 to 300 meters across, respectively. Now think about the very first thing I showed you with the asteroids incoming. How big were they again? Which is too large to be simple debris from Encke's comet. That got them to wondering if there might be other large asteroids hiding in the complex. To find out, they scanned published papers on the Taurid complex and found mention of a total of 88 asteroids that appeared to be too large to belong to Encke's debris field. As part of their work, 8 plus 8 is 16. 1 and 6 would just be 6 in numerology, or you could take it to 7, the number of God. 8 representing like the Vesica Pisces or infinity, right? Or Ouroboros. As part of their work, they also look for measurements of reflected light from the asteroids, which help them compare, because you have 2 different numerologies. So there's Pythagoras theorem and Chaldean. And reflected light from the asteroids, which help them compare the paths taken by the asteroids to see if they match those of the debris from Encke's comet. The data showed evidence of the large asteroids and Encke's comet, and thus its debris originating from a shared comet, and that both likely came into being approximately 20,000 years ago. The researchers also write that the large asteroids could pose a threat to Earth, noting that the Tunguska event had been linked to the Taurid complex. Taurus, the bull god, right, Marduk, and has a disappearance of some early cultures during the Younger Dryas. And if you guys are not familiar, I'm going to do this is going to be part of Unveiling the Mysteries. I got a whole thing planned on the Younger Dryas. I mean, this is why it's so important, man, to really get involved. These are things people need to understand, man. They really do. And you can see here, study investigates the potential risk of Taurid meteor swarm. Show the image right there. Inky. And remember, and let's give Naughty Beaver some props on this. I mean, I've slammed him for his Pleiadian nanodust shit, but let's give him some props on this. He did call out that on the March 6, 2021, at least he's one of the first I heard say it, at least. But that's who I heard say it, so that's what I'm going to give the credit to. He did call out that Inky was actually in the Nostradamus prophecy. So we had Apophis from the Bible prophecy, the 1,360 days later, right? The year, time, and half a time, right? We had Apophis, which is the god of chaos and darkness, the asteroid, and that was in all the PDC stuff from NASA. I mean, every time it went past, it's volcanoes and earthquakes. Same thing happened this time too. And it was in Egypt, Apep, an ancient serpent, and I've showed you guys all the different depictions too of Apophis. Let's see if I got one here. I had to delete a bunch of my stuff, so I might have one for you. If not, I'll just Google it. But either way, Apophis in the Bible says, "And another sign appeared in heaven, an enormous red dragon, which means a fabulous kind of serpent." Right? And that's in the Revelations 12 prophecy, starting with the great sign. We've already went through that. Jupiter in the womb, the king planet, rule the nations with an iron rod. And think about all of these things when they're talking about Inky, right? And his father, right? Who gave birth to the two. And we just showed you the two objects behind the dark star, right? Just showed you. And that's like the two brothers, Inky and Enlil. See, it's all coming together. It's actually fascinating to me, but I'm a nerd. So anyways, at that same time, there was another thing in heaven that was taking place. Not only was the Bible talking about the passing of Apophis, right, on that precise day too. I mean, down to the day. Apophis, fitting the description, that serpent, that fabulous kind of serpent, it passed. That was the next sign, marking the final 42 months. It was numbered 99942, 9 completion in numerology, inverted, because we're in the upside down, the inversion, the reflection of the heavens above. It's 666, the mark of the beast, the number of the beast. And what did we do? We went into the final beast agenda, 42 for the 42 months. Well, Nostradamus talks about a prophecy of, it was Mercury, which now we've seen the attention of NASA and all of them. They're getting pictures of Mercury. Mercury's fire or Mercury's flame gives light to basically like the Antichrist, is the way it's kind of describing. And it's a celestial alignment of a body between Mercury and the sun, and Venus is occulted by the sun when it happens. It says Venus occulted by the sun, Mercury's flame gives light to something, the coming of something, and right in between it on that exact day, in that exact alignment with Venus, let me see if I can actually go to it, with Venus occulted by the sun, Comet Inky is right there in that spot. So I find that absolutely crazy, considering Naughty Beaver said that it was part of it. And I'm not saying he's right, and I'm not saying he's wrong. He obviously didn't nail the biblical part of it, right? The biblical part was Apophis, as I was telling everybody, which I still have not, I've yet to hear anybody else say that for some reason. I don't know why, but nobody else has caught on to the Apophis thing. That was the next sign. But what he did tell everybody, and he's obviously Naughty Beaver in the Nostradamus prophecies, so that's his thing. He did tell everybody about Nostradamus' prophecy, and I believe he nailed it. And that was that moment. Nostradamus wasn't talking about the biblical great sign. he was talking about another sign. But it's signifying the same events and took place at the same exact time. That's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Download this image here. And it says, it posts proof to the possibility of an oncoming swarm of meteors. And see, in this is the proof for all the trolls and shit like that. Proof. Listen to the Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot by some experts may indeed pose an existential threat to the Earth and its inhabitants, that's us. When considering catalysts for catastrophic collision, there are two main sources: near-Earth objects like asteroids and meteoroids and interlopers from the outer solar system, which are typically comets. And let me just also tell you that when the Spanish flu happened, okay, Comet Inky was the one that passed at that very same time when they were doing all of that. Nothing new under the sun. Just saying. Crazy stuff. And over the past few decades, a great deal of effort has been expended in cataloging more than 90% of the potentially hazardous NEOs, and working is ongoing to detect, catalog, and track greater numbers and smaller sizes of these objects, interlopers from outer solar system, and much harder to chart. Again, the Taurid swarm is the third potential source of risk that changes the probabilities of possible catastrophic impacts. The Tunguska Russian explosion of 1908, considered a 1 in 100 year event. Think about it, Tunguska, and then a few years later, the Spanish flu. Think about it, man. Assuming a random distribution of events over time, but the Taurid swarm, a dense cluster with Taurid meteoroid stream, and through which the Earth periodically passes, changes the odds significantly and gives a possible reason for the unlikely occurrence that a once per 1,000-year event occurred just over a century ago. I don't think so. I think that however this is aligned, the reason we had Tunguska and Spanish flu, and this is the same, right shortly before this is when the stereoscopic evidence on what comets are actually made up of by the color that they burn. There was a lot going into this with humanity at that time. And to me, it wasn't because that was the once in a 1,000-year event. It was the passing before the once in a 1,000-year event, which would be now. Remember, this stuff happens every 300 to 400 years, right on this cycle, but each one is different. Some are super close, but not since the days of Noah have we experienced like this. But according to experts will say, the days of Noah actually was a passing on the far side of the sun. Whenever the PX system or Nemesis passed, we were on the opposite side of the sun when it made its crossing in the time of Noah. This time, it'll be on the same side as us when it passes. So, So it's going to be a lot different. And that's why it's not going to just be the inundation by the flood. It's going to be the fire. And the inundation will actually follow after it passes. So after this thing passes, right? And that's why I believe in my vision or whatever. I seen the earth start shaking as it was up in the sky, and you could already see the shit burning and the impact. It was triggering that magnetic reversal, and as it passes, it's going to pull the oceans up in its train. And they're going to wash over the land. And I don't know what's going to sink, what's going to rise. I don't know. Nobody does. That's what I mean. So many people claim they know it all. It's just nuts. But it says that the hypothesized might of the Taurid swarm is successfully proven. And this also heightens the possibility of a cluster of large impacts over a short period of time. Well, with these large impacts be this. The first angel blew his trumpet, and there was hail and fire mixed with blood. And it was thrown at the earth, so that a third of the earth was burned up, a third of the green grass was burned up, right? And then what happens? The mountain, like a great mountain of burning fire, was thrown into the sea. And seeing this tells me that this is an asteroid that hits. I know that people say that this could be a volcano, but it says it's thrown into the sea, right? So that tells me that it's coming from above. It's thrown into it. So it wasn't already sitting there coming up out of it like La Palma. It was thrown into it, and it turns it all into blood because it's red like, wormwood. Planet X. And then what comes directly after? That's why I believe that this is like that moon rocky object that we see around this. Remember, we've seen in every single image, every single picture, right? 2 big giant objects, and one of them's got a moon. And they're both in front of a giant dark star. Okay? Black star. You can't even see the damn thing. So, that's what I mean. Like, it seems like its moon hits us, and that's the asteroid. That's the mountain set ablaze. That quite possibly this Taurid meteor is a part of this system, and they're even telling you it's a debris tail, right? They're telling you that. It's debris. Right now we have, and this is what I mean, you can kind of tell what's going on by looking at what the governments are doing. And what the news is showing. Look, planet with iron rainfall is even more extreme than scientists thought. What do you think it really is, the planet with iron rainfall? Just saying. Neil deGrasse Tyson explains why blowing up the comet heading for Earth is a terrible idea. You see what I mean? Neil deGrasse Tyson explained to CNN that to the film's Deep Impact in Armageddon. And think about this too. Deep Impact, that's the 10 and the $100 bill that I was talking about, right? And just for those who don't know, I do think I have an image on my computer, but see if they got the on here. Of course not. What the Google is not even a fucking search engine anymore. Like, it's terrible. I can't never find nothing on Google now. Let me go to the YouTube video. Right here. See if oh my gosh, come on y'all. And neither is YouTube either. Just to keep it real. I'm not spelling stuff very good. There it is. Just to give you a little look at it. You can see where they had the Twin Towers and all of that. Well, as they made like the newer bills. See? There's like the missile or whatever. So, just to kind of hip you to what I'm talking about. I have done videos on this, so go back and check my older videos. You'll see what I'm talking about. I got one that is just about that, so go check my stuff. And look, NASA images of the week, Rogue Planet, Dangerous Dance, SpaceX, and electric propulsion. See, rogue planet. See it? A Jupiter-like rogue planet wanders alone in space. Exoplanet hunters have found thousands of planets, most orbiting close to their host star, but relatively few alien worlds have been detected that float freely through the galaxies as so-called rogue planets, not bound to any star. Many astronomers believe that these planets are more common than we know, but that our planet-finding techniques haven't been up to the task of locating them. A planet survey called the Microlensing Observations in Astrophysics scanned the central bulge of our Milky Way galaxy from 06 to 07 to use a 5.9-foot telescope at Mount John University Observatory of New Zealand and a technique called gravitational microlensing. In this method, a planet-sized body is identified indirectly as it just happens to pass in front of a more distant star, causing the star to brighten. The effect is like a cosmic funhouse mirror or magnifying lens. Light from the background star is warped and amplified, becoming brighter. Just like when they looked out towards Pluto with, what was it, Pioneer? I'm trying to think of the other one with Harrison, the scientist from NASA that got killed, and Sitchin, and they were showing you how Planet X was coming in and that it was warping our view when we looked out to Pluto, and that's what even started all of this. It says using the latest technology, they conduct a survey to use more exoplanets using powerful techniques. And then boom, Neil deGrasse Tyson explained to CNN that the film's Deep Impact and Armageddon, which this is what they're, so the Deep Impact on the back of the bills and all of that, right from an asteroid impact, we've showed that. And then the Armageddon goes to the DART. The double asteroid redirection test is a Armageddon type of deflection of this thing. So literally, both of them came up with a terrible idea for solving the comet and asteroid crisis that the Earth is facing. See? It is facing. Both films deal with the massive body headed towards Earth that could destroy life on the planet, but also use nuclear bombs to blow them up as a way of saving humanity. In reality, however, two scientists discovered 7 years ago that a comet, 60 to 100 miles wide, was headed on a path that would come very close to Earth. It's not expected to hit Earth, however. Now think about it. A comet, huge fucking comet, because it's 60 to 100 miles wide. Miles wide. It's like the size of Delaware or some shit like that, in case you don't remember. So this giant comet object planet, remember, Farada said it was a comet planet. Come from an elliptical orbit, has a tail, but is the size of a planet. Okay? Headed towards Earth, coming really close, but not expected to hit us. But what's orbiting it? Right? That's what hits. However, and I think their days and all of that is wrong as well. And I believe it's actually orbiting the dark sun. And they're going to tell you they couldn't see it. That's what they're going to say. They're going to say we couldn't see it. It's like a black hole. That's why I've told you they've been showing you all the black hole stuff. They're prepping you, man. They're prepping you for this. That way, and that's why they're saying all these large-ass asteroids that are skimming the Earth, guys. I mean, literally. That last week, large one skimmed the Earth. And they said they didn't see it till after it passed. And they've done this how many times now? They're going to say, we didn't see it, just like we didn't see all those other huge ones. Till after. All these black holes everywhere, it was orbiting a black star or a black hole. So we couldn't see that either. They come from under the ecliptic. That's the only direction we haven't been looking for Planet 9 and Planet X. We were just preparing with these hypothetical scenarios and double asteroid redirection tests for no reason at all. The pandemic just started 2 days after the discovery of C-19, just like the C-19 we all know now. 2 days after, of ATLAS, Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System Survey. That's the oh shit telescope, by the way. Which I told you then when it happened. Go watch the videos if you don't believe me. I told you then they'd say it would break up into pieces because it would become the Planet X system. And then we've seen Erasmus, Y1, Y4. I mean, they continue. Leonard, right? I've shown them all the entire time, guys. We've all seen them together. And I can show you images of Atlas right now. See? Big debris field. With a big object with like a moon next to it. They've known the whole time. And Pompeo come out and said it was a live exercise when it all started. Remember? Had the military setting up on the highways, state lines, all the tents and shit that were actually morgues. Go watch my videos. The refrigeration units and trailers where they said they were putting bodies in. But really there were none. Which were actually for what they brought in next. But these morgues and all of that, notice they're still up even though they're empty. Or all the PPE they had to order to clean up the bodies. The movement of the CDC coffins, I also showed that too. They're not FEMA coffins, they're CDC coffins. Or how about all the cadaver bags? Remember I told you before the video started leaking out, and FedEx was transporting these cadaver bags, that a subscriber who worked in that field told me about 150 million of them. I showed you from a subscriber the semi-trucks with the maps to the underground tunnels and how they were taking all the food in there. Remember? Does anybody remember? Is this just me? I showed you October 2019, the Manpower Guidance Act for Civil Deployment, and how they were setting us up for martial law, a soft martial law, so they could circumvent posse comitatus and they could keep all these sheeple dumb as shit until the last second. At that same time, this was happening.
Why don't we blow the system up? I mean, obviously we can't just turn off the spigot on the system we have and then say, hey, everyone in the world should get this new vaccine we haven't given to anyone yet. But there must be some way that we grow vaccines mostly in eggs, the way we did in 1947.
In order to make the transition from getting out of the tried and true egg growing, which we know gives us results that can be, beneficial. I mean, we've done well with that, to something that has to be much better. You have to prove that this works, and then you've got to go through all of the clinical trials, phase 1s, phase 2s, phase 3, and then show that this particular product is going to be good over a period of years. That alone, if it works perfectly, is going to take a decade.
There might be a need or even an urgent call for an entity of excitement out there that's completely disruptive, that's not beholden to bureaucratic strings and processes.
So we really do have a problem of how the world perceives influenza, and it's going to be very difficult to change that unless you do it from within and say, I don't care what your perception is, we're going to address the problem in a disruptive way and in an iterative way, because you do need both.
But it is not too crazy to think that an outbreak of a novel avian virus could occur in China somewhere. We could get the RNA sequence from that, beam it to a number of regional centers, if not local, if not even in your home at some point, and print those vaccines on a patch and self-administer.
October 29th, 2019. October 3rd was Manpower Guidance Act. Do you see, man? Yeah, I hope you do. I hope you do. I hope you're seeing it all now, because, you know, like I said, like, it's all right there in front of you. George Floyd, the bricks in the streets and all of that, the fucking cop with the fake license plates and they had no badges on. The Capitol, they didn't have badges. You guys remember my private video showing you the whole thing? Then they use that to create the domestic terrorist shit, which is now they're talking about how all the planes have been downed. And that's proof that the anti-jab people are one step away from domestic terrorists. Oh, it's got nothing to do with they were fired because they didn't do something. They're intentionally disrupting the entire system because they didn't do something you said you weren't going to mandate and then you did. I showed you. I'm dumping out the fucking crude oil. Federal letters to the farmers telling them to destroy their stuff, the culling of the cattle, the pigs, the sheep, and now they're telling you, oh, there's this crisis and that crisis, and energy crisis could force more UK factories to close, and how they're shutting down the nuclear power plants. Do you not see it yet? I mean, come on, man. Please, somebody work with me here. I don't know what else I can fucking do. Last month, the discoverers of the giant object, the University of Pennsylvania astronomers Gary Bernstein and Pedro Bernardini, combined their earlier data with fresh sightings of the distant object this summer and confirmed their suspicions. Its close approach in 2031, I bet it's 2021, will be a monumental time to study the comet's chemistry and reveal what our neck of the woods was like before there were planets zipping around. One of the best things about this comet is that we've got a while until it makes its closest approach to the sun. So we've got years to study how it brightens up as its surface gets exposed to the sun's warmth. Speaking to Neil deGrasse Tyson went a little further into the fears and anxieties, giving Earthlings learning off the comet for the first time. So if you look into the movies about this sort of thing, what they want to do is blow the sucker out of the sky, like with DART in November, Double Asteroid Redirection Test. We're very good at blowing stuff up because we have no end of weaponry to do this. But that's not the wisest path. All engineering calculations tell us if you blow something up, while we're good at blowing it up, we're not as good knowing where the pieces will end up. So it's safer and more controlled to deflect an asteroid from harm's way. He called the project the DART, Double Asteroid Redirection Test. And notice how it's a double asteroid redirection test? See the two objects I keep showing you? Just saying. Where scientists can just give a comet or an asteroid a little bump outside of their existing orbit. The power and gravity of other planets, moons, and bodies in our solar system could then impact the path of the comet. We know that orbit with good enough precision that if we slam our spacecraft into the moon, it will alter that orbit and it should alter it in a measurable way. And if we succeed at that, it's like, oh, yes, now we have methods and tools to deflect asteroids that we may one day discover have our name on it. And let me just also say, too, let's just hypothetically say that it's not the Taurids that bring all the fire and meteors down on our ass. Okay? Let's say that this thing is getting close, and it's their double asteroid redirection test that brings all that down on us. They shoot it as it passes close to us before it comes to hit us the next time around the sun or something. You know, there's multiple possibilities in all of this. But do you see how close all of this aligns? Do you see how all of this goes together? Let's see if we can.
Okay, that's a movie. That's a clip from Deep Impact. And there are no asteroids currently threatening Earth. Not like that. NASA is concerned, however, that it's preparing for a worst case scenario. Next month, in fact, a spacecraft will be launched to ram into an asteroid's moon to see if it can actually change its trajectory. It's called the Double Redirection Test, or DART for short. And here to help us understand all of this,
They'll go into the asteroid's moon.
because it, of course, is out of this world. The man who's out of this world, Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's an astrophysicist and the director of the Hayden Planetarium. He's also co-author of a new book, because he's got a lot of books. This one, A Brief Welcome to the Universe. Neil, so good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Just wanted to say up front, Bruce Willis is not part of this mission at all.
Oh, okay, darn. I'm sure he's disappointed, though. I'm sure he would be the first one to volunteer if you had a spot. So help us understand this, because this, first of all, I didn't know an asteroid could have a moon, but of course you knew that because you're an astrophysicist. But tell us about tell us about this asteroid, which is roughly the size of 3 aircraft carriers, and it is a moving target. And so what does NASA want to do?
Yeah, so if you look at movies about this sort of thing, what they want to do is blow the sucker out of the sky. You know, we're very good at blowing stuff up because we have no end of weaponry to do this, but that's not the wisest path. All engineering calculations tell us, because if you blow something up, while we're good at blowing it up, we're not as good as knowing where the pieces will end up. So it's safer and it's more controlled to deflect an asteroid from harm's way. And what we found is a double asteroid. So the DA in the DART stands for Double Asteroid Redirect Test. And we know the orbit of the moon, the moonlet, if you will. That's about the size of a football stadium. And it's in orbit around its host asteroid. And we know that orbit with good enough precision that if we slam our spacecraft into the moon, it will alter that orbit, and it should alter it in a measurable way. And if we succeed at that, it's like, oh yes, now we have methods and tools to deflect asteroids that we may one day discover have our name on it.
Wow. And so any kind of pieces that might come from, chipping away of that moon that you said is like a football field size, certainly much smaller than the aircraft carrier size of the asteroid. So tell me about the spacecraft that does that, that could do this deflection.
Yeah, so this is a spacecraft that, so it's electrical ion propulsion. So this is... sounds very science fiction-y, and the engineers have been working on ion propulsion for quite some time. There's been good tests of it, and so what you have is sort of an ionized gas, and you direct charged particles out the back end, and it recoils in the other direction. And if
now remember, they've been ionizing the atmosphere for quite some time now. We can't leave here. They can't go to space either. HAARP essentially what they're doing is using frequency, heating up the ionosphere to allow it to expand outwards. And when it does that, it's like a balloon effect, and it bounces those waves back down towards the earth, creating an earthquake machine, right? I just did a video on this the other day. Now, let's say that our dome is our only protection, because it is. And there was something headed towards us. We can't get out in space to blow the thing up, right? Can't. Nuclear bomb or not. They have been working on this a long time. Remember, they were shooting nukes up at the magnetosphere, what, 50s and shit like that, 60s? So, if you take something and you try to ionize the atmosphere, like the HAARP technology, it looks like they're trying to deflect it, like he's talking, but they're trying to use our magnetic field to do it. They're not slamming a spacecraft into it. They're trying to use energy and heat the field up and send it outwards to push this thing away as it comes past. And remember, I told you guys about Psyche, and how that's the one they depict in the NASA images. Was it last Halloween, guys? I was showing the NASA posters and stuff, and it had like the Planet X, and its moon was Psyche, the skull-looking one. And how they're talking about there's 1 million Psyches coming and all of this. Like, I think it's kind of predictive programming. Quite possibly, when they do this, it might have some effect on this thing. I don't know. I do not believe they're going to deflect it away, though. And I do not believe it's going to change the course of any of these bodies at all. And like I said, I think that this is probably its closest pass before actually slamming into us. Like the last pass before slamming into us, and we don't know how long that trajectory takes, what side will end up, even if it's going around the sun so many times at so much speed. We're also, in orbit, if all of that's true and the orbital mechanics are all correct, right? And the trajectories are correct. Think about the large-ass asteroids and how they all measure up to the same size as what they're talking about. The 200 to 300 fucking meters, right? Which would just be the moon of this thing, the size of the state of Delaware. And I would almost bet that the moon's actually like the size of the state of Delaware. The vision I had, the dream I had, this thing was mother effing big, dude. It was like, it looked like our own damn moon hit us, but it was brown. And it looked a lot like Psyche. A matter of fact, I didn't even know. I didn't know if it was a moon or our moon or what. And then I read the Colbert, and it talks about a new moon will appear in the sky before being broken to pieces at the coming of the destroyer. And then I'm like, oh crap, I seen it. And it hit, and it was already cracked from hitting us. And I think that's what they're trying to do. Is manipulate the ionosphere by heating it up through their HAARP technology. They've been planning for this for such a long time, guys. I'm trying to tell you. All the deep underground military bases. And now look how they're shutting down the whole world at this time too. Do you see why I'm saying your money won't help you? Do you see now why I'm trying to tell you that? It's not going to matter. They know it too. That's why they're imploding the whole system. They're going to start a new one. They want everybody to be completely oblivious to this because they want you all to die. At the very last second, possibly. Maybe 40 days. Before the big one hits. Probably after the first event. I believe they will say something to the world because it will be too obvious. Unless they try some sneaky shit and just start dropping bombs at the same time that this thing happens. Which is a very high probability of that. But remember, the ships at the sea were destroyed and all of that when this all happens. Think about right now. 140 something fucking warplanes in China. The United States deploying to Taiwan, Iran, Afghanistan, Russia, 300,000 troops, Ukraine. Do you see what I'm saying? Is it making sense to you now? It should be. I think it's super obvious to me. Gas giants may have bullied Planet 9 to the fringes of our system. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune may have sent the Earth-sized planet barreling towards deep space. I doubt it. But you see, though, wind speeds in Jupiter's Great Ridge Spot are picking up. That's strange, isn't it? This thing comes between Jupiter and Mars at us. New evidence. America's first civilization was made up of sophisticated engineers. Of course it was. I believe it was the Phoenicians and probably the Atlanteans before that. And look, do you see this? This looks just like what Plato was describing too with Atlantis, guys. Wow. And looks just like what you see in Africa too. Let me show you. Whoops. See? See that? It's on the continent of Africa. See, that's what Atlantis was supposed to look like. Here's a depiction of Atlantis. See if you guys can see that above my head here. Top right. There's some more depictions with the water going up. See the rings. And this is the actual, what it looks like today via Google Earth. See, like that. That's Africa right now. Okay, now look. Go back. See? See that? The illustration above shows core features of the Poverty Point site in northern Louisiana. The green to the right is the Mississippi River floodplain. The orange is the Mekong River and the high ground on which the site is located. And parts of the ridges have been damaged by historic and modern activities. And it says many of the low areas on the site are thought to be places where soil was mined to make ridges and mounds. The Native Americans who occupied the area known as Poverty Point in northern Louisiana more than 3,000 years ago have long ago believed the simple humans, simple hunters and gatherers, but New Washington University and St. Louis archaeological findings paint a drastically different picture in America's first civilization. We research community and population as a whole, and we've undervalued their ability to do this work and to do it quickly in the ways they did. And you can literally see, just like what you've seen in Africa there. That's what Plato described Atlantis like. Research sheds light on how unusual North Pole ozone hole formed. See that giant fucking hole? Over the Arctic? Now think of South Atlantic anomaly. I mean, come on, man. Earth wobbling on its axis. The moon's being pulled away from us. I mean, come on, dude. The sun going into, crazy mode. All the glaciers melting. Sea levels rising. Record levels of tropical storms in Atlantic and Pacific. Mudslides, landslides. Volcanic and seismic activity we've never ever even thought about seeing. Millions of percentages higher. Thousands and thousands of fireballs just this year alone. Potentially hazardous asteroids, near-Earth objects on levels we've never even anticipated or known. I mean, eclipsing last year and the year before by leaps and bounds, and those were beyond anything we'd ever known. Sonic booms everywhere, fireballs falling down everywhere, dust raining down. Red dust, thousands of miles wide. They told you all of this would happen. Just like in the days of Inky, the Doomsday Glacier, Mount Etna, the Sun Cycle. Check, check, check. Yet somehow, some way, people are oblivious. Enjoy it while you can. Dropping oxygen will eventually suffocate most life on Earth. Remember, there's studies saying that, that giant piece of planet that's lodged in the Earth now that they said has hit us before. You guys know what I'm talking about. I've shown that too. That's, and how the continents that are now starting to surface that they said are under the ocean, and the giant oceanic volcanoes and all of that are coming up too as we're watching the land start to shift. They said that at that time when those things happened, that 60% of the atmosphere was ripped off. A new meteor shower? Why, this unique cosmic phenomenon was possible. A second arid shower outburst in 2021. The predicted arid meteor shower outburst on October 6th and 7th, 2021, caused by Earth encountering the debris ejected by Comet 15P Finlay during its activity outburst in 2014, and 15 did materialize. And just to put a fucking cherry on the top, do you guys remember when I was covering, that's a video I did called I Am a Pet Goat Too? Because, damn, it's so wild right now, just to keep it real. It's all coming together. I don't even know if I get any videos left to make after tonight. Now, I'm not going to go through this at all. I'm just going to show you the very, very end. And I'm going to show you a constellation I told you it would come from. Here we go. Okay. Now remember, Egypt is also Babylon. Okay? Like a large millstone thrown into the sea. With that same force, Babylon will be thrown down. You see that asteroid striking the Great Pyramid, the symbol of Egypt or Babylon? Do you see what's going on right behind it? See that scorpion's tail? Scorpius. What is this? Oh, the surprise second Arids, along with the Taurids. And where's it at? Scorpius. Damn, son. How about that? How about that? See? And so many people, man, have told, oh, Yellowstone won't erupt. Oh, it's not coming. Why can't we see it? Oh, that's a lens flare. Da, da, da. What the fuck you got to say now, man? If you still don't believe, you never will, okay? If you still don't, you never will. The Earth itself on the move, and notice how, I've also told you about this as well, that our cycle, our year will change from 365 to 360 days. The Earth is constantly changing. It wobbles, the angle of the tilt changes, and even its orbit changes to bring the Earth closer to or further from the Sun. These changes happen over tens of thousands of years. And they have been responsible for ice ages, right? Younger Dryas, I told you, unveiling the mysteries. Donate today. Check it out. 500 years isn't very long in terms of geology. The second big influence on the planet is living things. The effect on the life of the planet is harder to predict. And the ecosystem, it cuts down the forest, blah, 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 contribute to global warming. And the atmosphere, oh, here we go. Dangerously but hot, the melting ice at Greenland and Antarctica. Coastal areas flooding. Heat waves, storms, droughts. This is what they say is coming in 500 years. It's here now. People are so stupid, man. They're so stupid. Watching the skies, and this is huge, y'all. Moon to align with Jupiter and Saturn. Remember, there's your rocket taking off. We've all said SpaceX, but let's just think for a moment. Could it be the double asteroid redirection test they're showing us? And this alignment here, is it really the Great Conjunction? Because you see, it looks like Jupiter, the planet, but it's got rings around it like Saturn. So I think that signifies an alignment of those two planets. Like the Great Conjunction, possibly. Maybe that's when it begins. And it did begin then, right? That's when all this beast system, the heart and the DNA, came out with the jab. Right? AI and the binary code we now believe, or I do, for the very least, that AI is in control now. Right? And that human beings are not. We are into the mark of the beast. We're watching it roll out. You see it all over. If you're denying it, I'm sorry, dude. But, okay, go line up for something then and believe what you want. But I showed you the video, and I believe tomorrow, yeah, I think it's tomorrow, I'll be doing unveiling, the assimilation part 2. Going deeper into showing how machines are already in control. And then boom, right here. Do you think they're showing an alignment of Jupiter and Saturn? Moon to align with Jupiter and Saturn. If you look to the southwest during the evening over the weekend, you may not have noticed a very bright planet paired up with the moon. Venus and the moon put on a beautiful show over the past few days. Next, the moon will meet up with Jupiter and Saturn, on the evening of October the 13th through the 15th. And October the 13th is the passing of one of those asteroids too. Remember? The 200 to 300 meters? Just like the moon of the one asteroid. You get it by now, right? Jupiter and Saturn have been slowly drifting apart since their conjunction in December of 2020. But they are still close together in the night sky, and Jupiter is brighter of the two planets, and Saturn is just to the right of Jupiter. I'd like to see what Wednesday. G1.9 plus 0.3. The last galactic supernova. Look at that. Nice little wings here. And remember, it all appears to end with the sun going nova, doesn't it? Terrible noise, right? Terrible sound. The heavens and the earth pass away with loud noise and fervent heat. There has not been a supernova we know of in the Milky Way since the use of the telescopes began. They usually happen every century or so, like Tunguska, 100 years. Get it? So I would love for there to be one bright enough to see with the naked eye. Not too close, of course, but close enough. I mentioned earlier today there hasn't been a supernova in the Milky Way in 400 years. Remember the cycle of the destroyer? 300 to 400 years. Oh, I'm in the wrong one. One second. Let me show you. Right here. See? 300 to 400 years. This is the Bible. Showing them all. I forgot about this one. I mentioned it in an article once, but I haven't written about it. Maybe I should. G1.9 0.3 is a supernova remnant in the constellation of, and you fucking guessed it, Sagittarius. Where does Gil Broussard's work say that Nemesis comes out of? Sagittarius. Where did Zachariah Sitchin and Harrison, the scientist that was murdered by NASA, say it came out of? Sagittarius. It's the youngest known SNR in the Milky Way, resulting from an explosion. The light from which would have reached the Earth sometime in 1890 to 1908, and like I said, the late 1890s is when they started the stereoscopic evidence by telling the color of a comet to know what it was made up of: cyanide, arsenic, sulfur, so on, so forth. 1908, this is Tunguska, this is Spanish flu, this is 100 years ago in the cycle when all this shit started. I'm trying to tell you, nothing new under the sun on a 400-year orbit. Boom. You see what I'm saying, man? You can't make this shit up. The remnant's young age was established by combining data from NASA's Chandra X-ray Observatory, which, remember when they shut down Chandra earlier, and was it Hubble was the other one? Gosh, man, it's so crazy. VLA Radio Observatory. In this type of supernova, the remnant has a radius of over 1.3 light years. It's identified as SNR from the 1984, 1984 as in Rex 84, from observations made with a VLA radio telescope, but it's because of the unusually small angular size it was thought to be young, less than about 1,000 years old. In 2007, X-ray observations with Chandra X-ray Observatory revealed the object was about 15% larger than in the earlier VLA observations. Further observations made with the VLA in 08 verified increased in size, implying it is no more than 150 years old. A more recent estimate put its observable age at 110 years. As the data collection of 2008, the study also found it was probably triggered by the merger of two white dwarf stars, the merger of two stars. So, more than 30 countries, they've joined the pledge to slash climate warming and methane emissions. Remember, we were talking about the methane increasing and all that, the greenhouse gas effect, trapping all of this 2-3 fucking years ago. I think I know why Babylon gets beat. Hundreds of thousands of U.S. troops not complied. Remember, they had the opportunity to ban the dishonorable discharge for this. National Guard stays, military goes, we get our ass beat, invaded, UN takes over when the collapse ensues, the disarmament treaty takes all your guns. Veteran journalist Al Hunt, or if you look at it this way, AI Hunt, questions Biden competency and says the White House beset by stupid miscues. Yeah, we got a fucking AI robot hologram for a president, and we've been completely sold out in every way, shape, form that you can even imagine. It's an intentional destruction of the United States and its allies. Meteor entering the atmosphere, likely behind the loud boom heard Sunday. And of course, we don't get no videos of that. Oh, La Palma. High lava effusion rates, new lava arm at the sea. Speculation about the seismic activity. Remember, Carlos Ferrara in Italy. It would be a volcano with seismic activity, large earthquakes. This is it. Close encounters of the barely heard kind. Weak radio signals in depths of space could indicate the existence of aliens. Also, they are preparing everyone. This is the Antichrist, y'all. That's what's happening now. Okay? This is about to happen. That's why I'm going to show you that we're going to finish it off with the 666 shit and all of that to just punch this bitch on home. The Anunnaki and all of that, they're preparing the world for their arrival. We've got to be on our knees. All of us. Or be assimilated. So those who aren't assimilated or dead will be completely on their knees. There'll be no challenges brought to them. They will think they're killing you and doing the work of God. People better wake up. It needs to start making sense now. Astronomers picked up signals from 19 red dwarf stars. Remember, Ferrata said it was about 110 or something light years away. 165 light years away. With 4 thought to have planets orbiting them, possibly home to alien life. Australia's Dr. Benjamin Pope said, quote, "It is the first time radio signals from planets outside our system have been picked up. This could potentially lead to the discovery of planets throughout the galaxy." The signals are generated by the planet's magnetic field interacting with the solar wind. Earth emits powerful radio waves causing phenomena such as the northern and southern lights. On Jupiter, the volcanic moon creates a similar aurora effect. And signals were heard by the Netherlands-based low-frequency array radio telescope. And if you think about low frequency, electromagnetic low frequency, ELF, as in like elves, demons, get it? Dr. Joseph Callingham, Beacon University, reckoned this is a spectacle that has attracted our attention from light years away. An even more powerful telescope due to switch in 2029, expected to reveal hundreds more planets. Look, if we fucking make it to 2029, 2030, I'd be surprised. I'm not going to lie. But who knows, right? Who knows? And I want people to really see I'm not playing with all this shit, man. You know? I'm not making it up. England's coastline shifting rapidly due to the climate crisis. Rapidly shifting. And that's the Atlantic, right?
That startup investing is
We're not going to even do that one. Border reportedly wide open after state pull National Guard troops on police. Manpower and budgetary constraints have forced Republican governors to call back National Guard forces and state troops from the U.S.-Mexico border where they were dispatched over the summer. Do you see what I'm saying? This is a strategic loss by the U.S. Why do you think the Coast Guard is covering the Pacific the way they were? They're all on the border the way they were. You know what I mean? Now they're pulling them all off of the border. Can we stop calling our humongous military spending the defense budget? Yeah, we should call it, we robbed you so we could build underground military bases and get you slaughtered budget. That's the new name. Ocean life helps produce clouds, but existing clouds keep new ones at bay. Old clouds don't allow baby clouds to be born because they come from a planetary system. And a probe intended to study the Trojan asteroids. Remember the two wings coming off of Jupiter? Lucy, as in Lucifer, will visit more heavenly bodies than any previous mission. And you can check it out. There's his trajectory. I think it's really funny too. Look, see this elliptical orbit right here? I hope that's Mars. Possibly Jupiter, I don't know. The red planet here? That's Jupiter, the red planet, guys. And see Lucy doing the elliptical around the sun? And hopefully they don't kick me off again. Oh, okay. And like I said the other day about the whistleblower, algorithms are dangerous. Astronaut's photo shows a huge blue flash in the Earth's atmosphere. The transient luminous event, such as upper atmospheric lightning, is known and was spotted in time-lapse taken by French astronaut Thomas Pesquet. This sort of lightning looks different from the flashes that occur in and below the storm clouds and tends to be much larger. There are sprites, which are vertical, super tall, bright flashes of red or bluish green light. I've shown these sprites for a long time now. They only started happening a year or so ago. They act like they happen all the time. Which tend to be blue and occur in stratosphere and elves and are very high altitude electromagnetic pulses. And these are trolls, which are jet-like and other magically named luminous forms of lightning that happen above the clouds. The colors of the various phenomena are shaped by the atmosphere on Earth. Nitrogen makes sprites appear red, but on Jupiter, a hydrogen-rich atmosphere would make sprites appear blue. Do you hear what they're saying to you? On Jupiter, Zeus, with his lightning bolts, sprites would appear blue. This is outside the fucking atmosphere. Sprites would appear blue from Zeus and his lightning bolts, his thunderbolts. So a Zeus-like planet, or Zeus his damn self, this is the beginning of the connection of us with this object, guys. Straight up. You can even see some dark shit off here in the corner in the back. What the hell is that? Is that supposed to be a satellite? Is that supposed to be a satellite? You can see like a panel right here, but look, it's like round, and then there's like another small round object right there. That is weird. It's got like a tail too. What the fuck? Gotta be kidding me. Antarctica, coldest on record, their winter, hottest summers too. Capsule of 1765 air reveals histories hidden under the Antarctic ice. An ampule of Antarctic air from the year 1765 forms the centerpiece of a new exhibition that reveals the hidden histories contained in polar ice to attending the COP26 climate conference in Glasgow. And these ice cores have allowed Benetai to display in Glasgow, widely acknowledged to be a pivotal movement from the planet, the purest possible air trapped in ice from another such moment just before modern humanity began its unwitting destruction of the atmosphere, the stark consequences of which are now being faced. You got to be fucking kidding me, dude. Let's check the World Earthquake Report. Oh, it's high. Yeah, I guess so. Look at the planet. Let's actually take a look at equake. I haven't done that in a long time. Let's take a look. Let's see. Let's see what it looks like, guys. I'm sure it's not that bad. Oh. My. Wow. No big deal. No big deal. But remember, this is not even close to all the actual seismic activity. This is just from one place that reports it all, guys. And remember, this energy flows along the faults. It's like plasma energy. It hits the inside, the core, if you will, if there's a core. But the inner earth, and reverberates back outwards and then flows like a wave underneath the surface. And that essentially releases heat and energy, and it has to escape through the faults, and that's why you see it come out in the same quakes. You'll see 3-2, 3-2, 3-3, 3-1, same amount of energy as the series or the wave shifts all throughout the planet. And it all ends up out here, North America. And that's why the pressure's all been building up on our tectonic plates around the North American craton. And now you see it's starting to release. See how hardcore it's going right there? Cascadia subduction zone, San Andreas Fault in Yellowstone. And then you see the energy even pulsing and pushing inwards here up into Cascadia at New Madrid. So yeah. See how this one shows it all the way up the East Coast too? See? Up in Yellowstone. down the west coast, because a lot of these are off the side at Juan de Fuca. And see what I'm saying? How it's only reporting some. See how there's a big giant empty gap here? Same thing on equake. Look, you'll see a gap in the quakes in Canada, like they just stopped or something and they didn't go all the way down the fault. That's not true. If I go show you the Canadian seismic activity, you'll fill in all the gaps and you'll see a million more, and they'll be covering the entire East Coast. Well, take a look. See? The entire East Coast pushing all the way up into the Craton, all the way up into New Madrid, and that's red. This is some real deal activity, guys. Okay? Don't know where that fucking ad came from. But even so, not all of the areas are even covered in this map. This is, like I said, 1 or 2 agencies in this one. You think there's none happening all over Russia and Asia and Africa and... See what I mean? Like, it don't even make sense. Canada, do you see how they're all blank? You're not getting the actual world earthquake report. You're getting about a third of it. And they're saying it's high. One quake, 6.0, 2.5 plus, 27, 4 plus, almost 200, 3 plus, almost 300, 2 plus, and over 500 total. And like I said, this is about a third. It's about a third. So yeah. And then you see too, number 1 is the Gulf of Alaska, and that's where the super volcano is too, up in Alaska, right? North Pacific Ocean, Russia, and that's another one of the big quakes that historically Kamchatka, and I'm trying to think of the other one, are very significant when it comes to catastrophic things happening. And we were reading the prophecies of India and Indonesia. It was talking about how they would be devastated. They are. I mean, it's like, I can't make it any clearer. I don't even know what else to say, man. But see, now the ship's out at sea, just like I said. U.S. Navy plans to make its future attack submarine into an apex predator. And remember, submarine just got screwed up the other day, hit into something unknown in the ocean, remember? Britain reaffirms Asia tilt as a new warship makes Singapore stop. The tilt, like the planet, when it tilts as this thing approaches. See, like they put the words and everything. Ex-Pentagon software chief says China beating the U.S. in a tech war a done deal. Kindergarten levels. No competing fighting chance against China. Boom. Like I said. And what I also say, we were going to start to see this shit. See? Software, tech, like we're going to start to see the failure of our defense in all of those areas as well. Pentagon official said he resigned because U.S. cybersecurity is no match for China. See what I mean? Just can't make it no clearer anymore.
People with
So yeah. But I mean, it's all out there in front of your face. You see the agenda for the mark. I don't know how else to put it. I'm going to show you one more thing. Look, solar storm expected to hit Earth. Could make northern lights visible where? New York. How about that? How about that? Get ready, Earthlings. The sun's expected to wreak some havoc on our planet Monday with an enormous solar flare that could disrupt power grids. And the power grids are already down. What country is that? The internet and the power just went down. It was either today or yesterday, and they descended into total chaos already. I'm trying to think of the country that this just happened to. But it's coming here too as well. Remember, they said that this could actually happen around Christmas or New Year's. So we're going to see on all of that, right? We're going to see. And the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, issued a G2, or moderate geomagnetic storm, due to the anticipated arrival of CME, coronal mass ejection. Among the possible effects of the sudden flash of increased brightness. And see, they're using little words too to let you know, due to the arrival, right? And the sudden flash, like that blue flash, Jupiter-like strike, and the sudden arrival, when we just have a giant fucking asteroid coming tomorrow. I mean, all of these things, guys, it's too much. Too much, too much. Brightness of our star, 93 miles away. I forgot to even tell you, when it comes to the supernova, remember I had Gary Parker on, and he told us that in 2022, which is when they say that all this stuff will be ending, in 2022 is when we can expect the arrival of the Anunnaki. I think it's July or June 23rd, 2022. And that's what vibrated in the sand of the Great Pyramid 10 years prior. Well, a prominent rabbi in Israel actually predicted the same exact day as Gary Parker, and he didn't even know this. I told him when he came on. Go check out my Gary Parker interview. It's on Best Damn Podcast 2. Best Damn Podcast 2, the backup channel. But watch it. It's one of my favorites of all time. And he met the Anunnaki, man, and they were giant, translucent machines with souls inside of them, filling them up. And they told him about this sign that would vibrate in the sand, and I show the image. It's a giant alien head in the sand of the Great Pyramid. And if you take the image on that day, 10 years to the date before their arrival, it's like a 3D picture or something. You can take your laptop and just tilt it, and the whole picture of creation pops up in the sand, down to Jesus and everything. Jesus is on the cross. It shows a river flowing to heaven, a river flowing to hell, and then a shortcut, and it's got Jesus on the cross. It shows an asteroid hitting the earth and a bunch of monkeys on the earth, and then the aliens coming and mating with us. I mean, it's like the whole thing, guys. The whole thing. It's spectacular. And the date that he gave, and I mean, I don't know how this could even happen. And I even say it in the interview. He actually done something. He faced the east, Aries, or the air, right? Remember, there's two races of aliens, or angels, which would be the reptile and the mammal, the bull and the serpent, right? I talk about this all the time. Caduceus, the two serpents on the staff, and the mammal represented by the moon, or the Lord, and the night owl, Moloch, and that's one Baal. They're both Baal, by Baal, two Baals. And then the serpent, and he stood in water, and in Hebrew he said, "Father, Father, tell me where you come from, where you really come from." And I seen him on an interview on WSO, and I thought he was full of shit. Is what I thought. But it was fascinating. There was so much detail. I thought there had to be something to it. And it was so fascinating to me that I did what he did. Okay? Because that's how I am. Alright? So I stood in water. I faced the east with my hands in the air and did the same thing that he did. You can call it a ritual. It really wasn't. It's more like I wasn't cutting a chicken or anything. Just stood in water with my hands in the air, and I faced the east just like he did. And I said just what he said 3 times, just like he did, and I'd never met him or talked to him. And I shit you not, all of a sudden, in the sky, it was like a glass-looking, translucent craft, uncloaked in the clouds for a second, and showed itself to me, and then disappeared again, just for a few seconds. But when I did it, it was like it knew that I was checking what he saw. It was strange. And I mean, it was like intelligent. When I did it, it popped out like just plain as day. And I mean, it was like glass looking, like a crystal or something type of ship. It was weird. Nothing like what we see what UFOs look like. And he didn't describe none of it like that either. And he even said that when he was speaking to the Anunnaki, they weren't even actually there. That they were on their way, and he was speaking to like a projection of them. And they were like 15 and 30 feet tall. And that they showed him everything down to the cube landing. I don't know if he said Israel or the Great Pyramids. I think he said Israel. And that everyone on the planet, they don't have to force nobody. That he said that people all over the planet are lining up and they're getting on these ships and to be put into the soul machine or whatever it is. And a prominent rabbi said that that day there would be a supernova and it would turn the sky red from the Sigma star system. And if you look into the Dogon and all of that, and what we think is Orion's belt and the dog star, even the Queen of England has a dog head. Hold on. What is the name of that? Buckingham Palace. Right here, dude. This is it. Look at this. Right on Buckingham Palace. For the dog star. And remember, the Hopi prophecy says what? The dog star. Sirius. The blue stars. There it is. See the dog head with the crown on it? Crazy. Right? So, I mean, there's just been so much to confirm all of this. To me, I've seen so many things I've never ever spoken out loud, because if I did, people would think I'm crazier than what they already do. I met a guy who seen me on YouTube just a week or so ago, and he said, "You're insane, man." Obviously, you don't believe these things. But I know it's a lot to take in, and especially when I'm saying, oh, I had a dream of this, and, you know, this guy claimed to speak to the Anunnaki. I'm just telling you, go to Best Damn Podcast 2. Watch the Gary Parker interview. Matter of fact, I'm going to put it in the chat for everybody. Right here. This is a giant alien head in the sand right there. There it is. This is back in the day when I had over hundreds of people in my chat because YouTube wasn't a fucking sack of shit. But there's a giant alien face. See it? It's its neck. There's its head. It's wearing like an Egyptian hat. And when you take this image and you put it in the light, which he does in this video, I show the video where he takes the image and he flips it. See? There's the serpent coming down. The whole creation story, y'all, vibrated in the fucking sand. And in the sand it had words, too, that vibrated in Hebrew. And it says, and see, look. Here's the supernova. Look, 2 stars will merge and explode in 2022 into a fiery red. And what image do they have? The Nibiru cataclysm. Do you see what I mean, guys? Look, there's a picture of the ET he drew. That's what he's seeing. Now, where's the words? There it is. Here's the words. This is what vibrated in the sand at the bottom of the image, and it says, God and Lord of the Underworld. Take it or leave it. It's up to you, but this one is for the trolls. I wanted to give a little something for them. That way, this isn't all fucking speculation. This isn't like, I don't make this shit up before I come on air. You know, I don't. I've backed everything up I've ever said. And not just one way with one proof. Every way you can imagine. Historical accounts, scientific, observable evidence, scripture, ancient text, prophecies, dreams, visions, you name it. I've shown it, I've done it, and I've connected it in every religion, every school of thought. Nobody on YouTube has done what we've done here, and that's the truth. Find them if they have. And it's not me that's done anything, it's we. We as a whole. This community has had the most awesome fucking people I've had the privilege of knowing since I've been alive this lifetime. And most of the stuff I've ever come across, half of it, you guys have shown me. Like, hey, John, check this out. And I've just put the pieces together. That's it. And everything I got wasn't even mine either. God gave me the dream. You know what I mean? Before that, I had a little small vision of Obama and the Pope. And it was like to show me, like, that's how it was going to come to me. The government has fucking targeted me, done terrible things to me I'm not even going to talk about. I was recruited by the Navy, given a top secret clearance when I was just a fucking kid, really. And now here we are, all this time later. It does suck. I will admit, it does suck to see so few care. But I do also understand that the path is narrow. And it's not about a popularity contest or anything like that. It's about saving souls. It's about coming back to who we really are, our original ways of being, and understanding what all of this is so we don't get stuck here again. So we can overcome it, learn from it, come together and really change shit and go on to something better. But we have to trust God at the end of the day and have faith at the end of the day and understand that Jesus Christ truly is the Messiah and the Savior, because his coming, his story, his whatever, his sacrifice, if you're Christian, that is what gave us this experience. That was that injection into time by the Father. He intervened. We were prisoners. We were done. We were done. Eradicated. Annihilated. And because of that moment, some of us won't be. So, and we all have that in us. And Christ wanted us all to have it. And the Father does too, I believe. And it's got nothing to do with you've made mistakes in your life. So those that have still judge me and judge other people, I feel bad for you. I feel bad for you. You're so lost you don't even have a clue. And you think you're pious and you think you're saved. That's the worst kind of lost. At least a prostitute or a druggie or a gambler or something, they know they're lost. But they hate the truth. So I'll send them a strong delusion, causing them to believe the lie. And your delusion is that you're holy when you're not. No one is. Not one. So, I appreciate everybody for joining me tonight. I do want to ask everybody, please hit the thumbs up and hit the like for me right now. after the video is over, please come and comment for me. It helps with the algorithm on both the damn videos since they kicked me off halfway through. And please share this and get it out there. And please, everyone, if you can, help me out and donate and support. I would like to keep this channel going to as long as I can. Man, they are just really killing me, man. They're censoring me. They're shadow banning me. And, you know, it's sad, but I appreciate the ones of you that really have, like, just stuck with me and just been good to me, because most of the people have honestly just flipped. They flipped. They've either judged me, turned on me, or they wasn't real to begin with. You know what I mean? It was all, and I told people that. I've always told people that. It's like fake love. Fake love. There was nothing real behind it. It was hollow. And they love to build you up, but they love even more to tear you down. And that shows you their character, not mine, not yours. Right? So, it's not us, I don't think, that they hate. I think it's the spirit in us that they hate. It's an envy. It's a jealousy almost. Because they don't have that light that you have. And I'm more grateful and more thankful over anything than what you guys have done for me in my life. I did not believe that there was a good person left on this earth. And doing this showed me otherwise. And it kept me focused on the right things all the time, on my own journey. It got me super close to God because I was trying to do things for you. And it ended up doing it for myself, really. You know? That's why I say, even though it seems like I'm speaking to you, I'm actually speaking to me a lot of times. But it's because of you that I helped me. You know? Like I said, I was clean 7 years because of this stuff. And, like, that's what I mean. Like, people have no idea. They think they know me. They don't. They judge people because they're judging themselves. They see something in me or in you that they really don't like about them. So they need someone to take it out on. They need someone to blame. They're scared of what the real truth is. So they want to come after the one telling them it. The messenger. Killing the messenger. I'm sure I'll be killed. That's probably guaranteed. But it'll be worth it. It won't be for nothing. And I can't say the same for those that do treat people that way. That are fake. That are hollow. That don't care. That don't help other people. That don't do anything for anyone but themselves. And have a delusion in their mind. Like they're holy. When there's every person on this planet is holy, if we really think about it. They all have that same spirit in them, that same opportunity, those same gifts. It's what we choose to do with it. And if Christ said, "Why do you call me good?" Well, then I think none of us have the right to sit and think we're good or better, for sure. Remember, we were given 2 commands above all. Love the Lord thy God with all your heart and soul, and love one another as I have loved you. And I'm not going to ask you, but you ask yourself, have you loved other people as he loved you? And if you even got to think about that, start doing it now. It starts with being selfless. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Mr. J. Bentley, Phoenix I Am. Thank you, Phoenix. That's your first approval comment I've ever seen. But at least you've been real the whole time. Ali, love does transcend all. Wild Man, that's my brother from another mother. Great guy right there. That's one of the, been with me the whole time. Tom Led, Up Yours 73, Kimberly Frederick, Digital Arts, Donna Marie Farrell, Aqua Kiran, Majestic Gift, Zero Infinity, Love Zero 2, Tim Hamby, Shanifni for the Great White North, Diane Livermore. Hey, and if you haven't subbed over on Twitch, please go do that for me. The first 5 people to go over to Twitch, comment in the chat, put your email, and I'll send you the links to the private shows if you do that for me. And it's, let me put it in here. Twitch.tv/TheBestDamnPodcast. Right there, guys. And like I said, the first 10 that donate 20 or more, I am going to, once I have those 10 people, because we're close to the goal, those 10 people, if it's tomorrow, next day, whatever, whenever they come, we'll put it on here and we'll do like a name generator and we'll pick somebody and we'll give free merch and they'll get access to the content and all that. Obviously, all of them will, but we'll pick somebody and give them some free merch and stuff. So please donate, support PayPal, Venmo, Patreon, Cash App, Facebook Messenger. And let me just say too, hey, there we go. I see MK Ultra 33 for sure. So you got it, MK Ultra. Awesome. I appreciate that. 4 more, guys. 4 more over on Twitch. 4 more. And y'all can get it too. And you also get Unveiling the Mysteries access to this month. Just because I need the Twitch boost. I'm trying to accomplish a goal over there. And yeah, so please support. Please share. Please comment. Please like. And yeah, man. I appreciate all of you, man. You guys are awesome. And remember, Jesus is the truth, the way, and life. God bless you all. I love you. And I will see you next time. All have a wonderful, wonderful week. Peace.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret